Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the weirdest, most fascinating corners of biology. We're used to thinking of plants and animals as two totally separate kingdoms, right? Plants just sit there, soaking up the sun, and animals are the ones running, hunting, and well, doing stuff. But what if I told you the line between them is way blurrier than you think? What if some plants act like animals and some animals have figured out how to live like plants? Get ready, because today we're exploring the incredible world of nature's biggest identity crises. Let's start with the most famous plant impersonating an animal, the Venus flytrap. This isn't your average passive plant, it's an active predator. Found in the nutrient-poor soils of North and South Carolina, this plant had to get creative to find its food. Its leaves are modified into jaw-like traps. On the surface of each lobe, there are tiny trigger hairs. An unsuspecting insect, maybe a fly or a spider, lands and brushes against one hair. Nothing happens. But if it touches a second hair within about 20 seconds, snap. The trap slams shut in less than 1/10 of a second, faster than you can blink. It forms a tight seal, and then the plant releases digestive enzymes, much like the ones in our own stomachs, to break down the soft tissues of its prey. After a few days, it reabsorbs the nutrient-rich liquid, and the trap reopens, ready for its next meal. It's not just moving, it's counting, timing, and hunting. How cool is that? But the Venus flytrap is just the beginning. Let's talk about the sensitive plant, Mimosa pudica, *. If you gently touch its leaves, something amazing happens. The leaflets instantly fold inward, and the entire branch droops down as if it's shy or scared. This rapid movement is a defense mechanism. To a grazing herbivore, the suddenly wilted plant looks less appealing and might even startle them away. It's not magic. It's a brilliant display of plant hydraulics. When touched, cells at the base of the leaflets rapidly lose water pressure, causing them to collapse. It's a purely physical reaction, but it looks like the plant is reacting with intent, almost like an animal feigning death. Even more astonishing, studies have shown that these plants can learn. If you repeatedly drop them without causing harm, they eventually stop folding their leaves. They learn that the stimulus isn't a real threat. That's a form of memory and learning, something we usually associate only with animals that have brains. Now, let's take this up a notch with the telegraph plant, also known as the dancing plant. This one doesn't need to be touched to move. In warm conditions, its small side leaflets will literally jerk up and down, rotating in little ellipses every 3 to 5 minutes. It looks like it's dancing to some silent botanical beat. Scientists believe this constant movement helps the plant maximize its exposure to sunlight, sampling the light from different angles to find the optimal position. It's like a living solar panel constantly adjusting itself. While the Venus flytrap moves for food and the sensitive plant moves for defense, the telegraph plant moves simply to optimize its energy intake, showing a level of active environmental tracking we rarely credit plants with. So, plants can hunt, defend, learn, and even dance. They're way more dynamic than we give them credit for. But what about the other side of the coin? Are there any animals that decided the plant life was the way to go? Absolutely. Meet the Elysia sea slugs, particularly the stunning Elysia chlortica *. Also known as the solar-powered sea slug. This little green marvel is born like a normal sea slug, crawling around and eating algae. But it doesn't just digest the algae. It carefully sucks out the chloroplast, the tiny green engines inside plant cells that perform photosynthesis and incorporates them into its own digestive cells. This process is called kleptoplasty, which literally means stolen plastids, for the rest of its life. As long as it has access to sunlight, the sea slug can generate its own food, just like a plant. It can survive for months on sunlight alone, lounging around like a living leaf. It's the ultimate form of sustainable living. It even has some of the algae's genes in its own DNA to help maintain the chloroplasts, a mind-bending example of horizontal gene transfer between kingdoms. But what if you want to be a plant without stealing parts from one? Let's look at coral. Many people think corals are plants or even rocks, but they are actually colonies of tiny animals called polyps. These polyps are related to jellyfish and sea anemones. So why do they look like a beautiful underwater garden? Because they have a roommate situation going on. Living inside the tissues of the coral polyps are microscopic algae called zooxanthellae, the classic symbiotic relationship. The coral provides the algae with a protected home and the compounds they need for photosynthesis. In return, the algae produce oxygen and, more importantly, glucose and other organic compounds from sunlight, which they pass on to the coral. This provides the coral with the vast majority of its energy, up to 90%. This partnership allows corals to build their massive, intricate calcium carbonate skeletons, which create the coral reefs that support a quarter of all marine life. The animal builds the house, and the plant-like algae living inside pay the energy bills. And this plant-like strategy isn't just for tiny sea slugs and corals. Let's talk about the spotted salamander. This is the only known vertebrated animal with a backbone that has a symbiotic relationship with algae living asterisk inside asterisk its cells. From the moment they are laid, the salamander eggs are often filled with a specific species of algae. The algae get a safe, nitrogen-rich environment inside the egg jelly. And in return, they photosynthesize, pumping oxygen directly into the developing embryo. This helps the salamander embryos grow faster and have a better chance of survival. But it gets even weirder. Scientists have recently discovered that the algae don't just stay in the egg jelly. They actually enter the salamander cells and tissues. This means the salamander itself is partially solar-powered, right from its earliest days. It's an animal with a spine that can photosynthesize. It sounds like something out of science fiction, but it's happening right now in ponds across North America. So, what does all this mean? It means that nature is far more creative, interconnected, and flexible than our neat little textbook categories would suggest. The strategies for survival are not locked into one kingdom or another. Plants have evolved animal-like traits to overcome challenges, and animals have co-opted plant-like strategies to gain an energetic edge. This blurring of the lines shows us that life is a vast spectrum of solutions. It reminds us that movement, intelligence, and predation aren't exclusive to animals, and that harnessing the sun's energy isn't just for plants. The world is full of these amazing hybrids, pushing the boundaries of what it means to be alive. What do you think is the most surprising example? A plant that remembers, or a salamander that's part plant? Let me know down in the comments. Learning about these incredible organisms really makes you look at the world a little differently, doesn't it? Thanks so much for hanging out with me today and exploring the wild side of biology. If you enjoyed this journey into nature's identity-swapping wonders, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the curiosities of the natural world. Till next time, stay curious.